So we always talk about the coming soon listings, and I think that's super important, especially if you are a real estate buyer contemplating purchasing something. And also the other thing that we try to talk about on the show every single day are how do you get those listings, and then also other strategies that buyers agents should be using to be able to find you the proper real estate that might fit your particular needs. Every single day, here I'm at Santa Clarita open houses, every single day listings cancel, listings expire. People withdraw their listings from the market because they don't want to sell. Maybe the money isn't there. Maybe they're trying to get a particular amount and they see that the market's gone through some type of an adjustment and they're not able to do that. That being the case, those are prime property listings that you can find. You can have your agent search for them. It's not complicated. They just have to be willing to do the work. And what it takes is this. So many sellers out there have been conned into believing that when agents bang on their door and want to buy a particular piece of property, that they have an actual client, but in realistic terms, they do not. They don't actually have a client. They're just banging on the door and using that as the catalyst for them to knock. That's it. Now, if you actually take a portfolio, you prepare a file and you have your buyer in it, you maybe have a photograph of your buyers, you have a pre-approval letter, you have other information, and then you go door knock and say, listen, I have a buyer in this particular area that's looking to purchase a residence. And these buyers are very motivated, they're completely approved and so on, then you are in working with gold. Then these people actually start to trust you. And these aren't just arbitrary people that you're hoping. These are targeted people that your buyer's agent has been able to specifically find out because you've given them information. For example, you want a 2,300 square foot house. You want it to be in Valencia. You want it to be in Bridgeport by the water, or at least in that same area that the water's in. So in that same community, you want it close to maybe the church over there. You want it close to that shopping center, close to the mall. You have direct paseo access and so on. Maybe that's what you're looking for. So here's one that fits that bill, priced under 900 grand, currently listed for sale. This is something that potentially you might want. This is currently on the market, but let's say you don't want this. Maybe you want something else that happens to be in a different area. So then you can go and have your agent do that research also on the same system and find other listings that have happened to have been canceled and sold. And then what they'll do is they should be able to go up to that seller and say, listen, I have a real buyer, because that's what we do, right? As a buyer's agent, you're supposed to represent your buyer. You know, anybody can go search on Zillow and these other real estate platforms, even Santa Clarita openhouses.com. You come here, it's completely unlocked. You can search for everything that happens to be for sale, not just open houses. Now, open houses are all over this thing, but again, you can go to the homepage here. You can watch that fancy video. There I am, hoorah, get so excited. But you can come down here and you can actually look for everything that happens to be for sale. All Santa Clarita Valley here. And then you can look at the specific communities. But if you don't see something, maybe you're looking at Riverside County, you can do that. All you need to do is just punch in the city. So let's say we're going to look at Riverside, California. Boom, there's Riverside. And you want to see those listings. And here they're going to pop up on a map on the left. And then this gives you everything that happens to be for sale currently in Riverside. And then they're going to be referenced over here on the right. It's going to show up with the newest first. But let's say you don't see what you're looking for because inventory is ultimately quite low, especially in Santa Clarita Valley. Then you solicit your agent. You say, listen, I was watching this guy the other day that was talking about how you might be able to do this and that. So then they should be able to do this and that. They should be able to go look at the withdrawn listings, the canceled listings, the listings that aren't currently on the market. And just to give you an idea, just this week alone, and these are potentials, we have 8 properties that expired. These are listings that didn't sell within contractual timeframes. I'll give you an idea. 8 expired. Long days on market, 340, 254, 132, 153, 163. Quite a lot of days on market timeframes. That's why they canceled. But maybe they're just waiting for the right buyer. Maybe these sellers are in a position to entertain an actual real estate buyer that gets brought to them by that seasoned real estate professional. All right, so going back, let's look at just a couple other things. So that was the properties that expired. Canceled listings, 17. This week alone, 17. And in these properties, we have price. But here's one, just canceled with 5 days on market. What happened? Well, maybe they got pissed off at their agent, didn't want to move forward. Maybe that's what happened. But we have others, 95, 63, 60, 74. Not a lot of time, but maybe they're getting into the holidays, and like a lot of sales, well, we don't want to have a bunch of people climbing through our house during the holidays. We want to try to have some semblance of Christmas, even with all this stuff going on in the world. We still want to have some kind of a holiday season. That's great. But we're talking one group, one family, maybe one person, depending on if you're flying solo, if you got everybody in tow with you, maybe you got 3 generations that are going to live in the house, whatever it may be. That's still very possible, very feasible for somebody that has gone through a canceled listing experience. And you know what? We're not going to play down the psychology of it. This is painful. Somebody that has their listing on the market, they've trusted their consummate real estate professional in hoping to get that listing sold. And you know what? It's just not happening. So they're sad, they're depressed, they're upset. Maybe they need therapy, maybe they need more stuff. But again, it's really a pain for them to go through this. It just didn't work out. Here's one, Withdrawn. 9 have been pulled off the market. Days on market time, yeah, triple digits. We got 145 up to 258. So 253, 204, 253, 253, 253. These are all in the same area. It looks like over $1 million. Oh, these are new listings. These are actually new construction. Yeah, that's an option, right? Maybe these properties are something that you could walk into. Now, when you have your agent with you, even at new construction, right? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 new construction houses that didn't sell within 253 days. What's the problem? Well, sometimes the corporations in control of the new housing, they're not going to let properties go to a particular amount. But you have an agent going in there that has the Conganas to go in there and approach the new housing agent and say, listen, I got a buyer here. They're completely approved. You want them to use your lender. Let's see what those benefits are. But they're completely approved. This is going to fit their criteria. Let's negotiate this price. Let's work on it maybe beyond what the actual owner or the seller was intended on doing. But, you got 4 properties that canceled here, Sal. You might want to get these things moving, that sort of thing. So you have your agent willing to do that work. Anybody can look on the real estate websites, as I've said, to find listings. But the trick is not just looking there, but looking at those properties that have been canceled, that have been expired, that have been withdrawn from the market. That's the secret sauce. That's what you need as a real estate buyer out there. So you want to hire somebody that does that sort of thing, somebody that actually cares enough to work on your specific real estate needs. Done. Finished. Conganas. Finished. Lots of words out there. You let me know when you want me to help. I'll be here for you. You can check out, like I said, SantaClaritaOpenHouses.com. That's the main system. You want to book a call with me, discuss what you're looking for in the real estate world, ZoomMeSCV.com. But, of course, at the bottom of Santa Clarita Open Houses, you can book a call. We'll have a discussion, and we'll figure out where you are. But don't call me if you got somebody, right? Don't call me if you have an agent. I'm sure they'll pick up the slack. They'll be able to work well for you. Just, reach out to them. I have a lot going on besides trying to, steal other people's clients. That's not my method. But if you don't have somebody, please reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. I'll work hard for you. We'll get this done. Anyway, I will win your real estate issues. Talk to you soon. I'm Connor. Be well.